With IO getting vaulted with the coming Beyond Light expansion, the Whisper mission and the connected Whisper of the Worm exotic sniper rifle will be removed from the game. I figured now was as good of a time as any to do a simple guide on how to do two things in this mission. One, how to solo it, maybe even solo flawless this mission. And two, how you can help your friends get the gun and this exotic as well as the catalyst and possibly even the ship. Now I won't be going down how to get the puzzle done. There's plenty of videos on how to do that. This is just mainly doing how to get the weapon, its exotic, and also how to solo it. Now I know there's probably a lot of videos out there on how to do it, but considering I spent a lot of my time streaming how to get this gun and helping a lot of people get this gun and this exotic, I feel like it's about time I put my ideas and my suggestions, and especially with it going away, on how to do this. First things first, we're going to cover all three classes in this video and what I use through it. For all these classes, I use one of two loadouts. First being Witherhoard and Falling Guillotine, second one being Mountaintop and Anarchy. With these two loadouts, pretty much all you do is pop a couple shots with your heavy weapon, being Anarchy or Witherhoard, and then going to the other weapon, Mountaintop or Falling Guillotine, to do the big damage real quickly. Depending on the room, I also use either a Solar SMG, Death Adder from the Prophecy Dungeon, or an Arc Icolos SMG from the Umbral Ingram Prismatic Recaster in the tower, with both of them running Disruption Break. The reason I run Disruption Break on my SMGs is all we're using it for is to break the shields, and Disruption Break also grants a 50% damage buff to your kinetic weapon after switching away from the weapon. So all you do is break the enemy shields with the weapon, hot swap to your special weapon being Mountaintop or Witherhoard, and watch you do 50% more damage to the enemy, which will also make them die a lot quicker. For armor on all classes, we run full armor that can take Taken mods, 4 of them. The 5th armor slot being an exotic. We like to use Taken Repurposing, Barrier, Armaments, and Invigoration. Repurposing gives you your grenade back every time you break an enemy shield, no matter the element. Barrier grants 20% damage reduction every time you take damage. Armaments gives you your heavy back every time you kill an enemy with a grenade. And Invigoration gives you your class ability back every time you kill a wizard, knight, phalanx, hobgoblin, or a named boss in this mission. All non-exotic weapons we choose to run Taken Spec, which grants 10% more damage to all enemies in this mission. If you don't have that, simply all I would suggest is run a mixture of Major Spec and Boss Spec for 7.7% damage. For all classes also we choose to run Void classes, simply to utilize Oppressive Darkness mod from the artifact. First up, let's run through all three classes. Hunters. We like to use Bottom Tree Night Stalker with either Graviton Forfeit or 6 Coyote. Here we also want to run Gambler's Dodge and simply dodge in their enemies, throw our smokes on the ground to make ourselves go invisible, then dodge by enemies again to get another smoke, and then rinse and repeat this process over and over throughout the entire mission. In this case, we're also going to be invis and then damaging enemies when we can, then leaving the fight to heal. If you don't have those and just don't want to run Void for some reason, you can also run Top Tree Arc Strider with Gambler's Dodge with Raid Influx. This is also a solid ad clearing super and clears rooms very well if managed correctly. Also, the super does great damage to the bosses at the end. Titans, you have one amazing choice. Don't pick anything else but this. Middle Tree Sentinel. Every time you hit an enemy with either your grenade or your melee, you apply Void Detonators that does a few things. It'll debuff the enemies, apply an increase in cooldown to your abilities, and then every time they explode, they'll give a portion of your health back while chaining damage to nearby enemies. This entire combo with Oppressive Darkness and the Armamentarium Exotic chest piece will make you a walking tank throughout this mission. The super isn't super strong, but it's a solid panic super to stay alive and block incoming damage in a pinch. Warlocks. We'll be running Bottom Tree Voidwalker and abusing the Devour perk. Pretty simple, all you do is consume your grenade and then go spin that sword everywhere you can. Since so many enemies have shields, you can simply apply Oppressive Darkness to whatever you're looking to damage before you spin to win on them. If for some reason you're out of Devour, you can simply consume another grenade for free health. The super also does solid damage to a single boss at the end, especially with chaining it with heavy attack sword swings and Oppressive Darkness as well. This will also make you feel insanely tanky. Pairing it with Netherrack Sin is what I suggest you run. If for some reason you don't have that, you can simply run Controverse Hold or just Transversive Steps. Now that we've got that out the way, let's move on to the rooms. First up is the entry room. What I suggest for super ease of clearing the room is to not kill the Taken Thrall. Go clear out the snipers in the back first, one up top left, one top right, and then go kill the solar captains that throw the blights. Doing this will do two things: make it easier to clear out the room, less chance of dying. It'll also cause the next wave to not spawn yet. Once you kill the Thrall, the next wave of enemies will all spawn. So clear out the people up top. Once the 4 of them are dead, then clear out all the Thrall down below. After they're dead, the next wave will spawn. Clear them out a lot quicker because you don't have to deal with all the blights and all the snipers in the back. You also won't have to deal with all the hobgoblins that spawn as well, healing all of them and making them immune, making your life a lot more difficult. Make sure you use a solo weapon on the Knights, then throw an Oppressive Darkness nade, and then heavy swing or shoot mountaintop at the enemies to kill them quickly. After clearing out the first room, simply move through the hallway to kill a couple of Knights and then move on to the Diamond Room. Once you're in the Diamond Room, the main objectives are first the Hobgoblins in the back, then the Solar Shielded Knights, then the Void Wizards, and then the rest of the enemies on the ground. Doing it in this order will take out the most deadly enemies first to the least deadly. Make sure you use a solo weapon on the Knights for that Disruption Break bonus. Then throw an Oppressive Darkness nade and then heavy swing all the enemies to get quick kills on all of them. Freely use your class abilities, as all enemies will grant you one of your abilities back for the most part in this room. This is arguably the longest room to be in and also the most difficult room to be in, but doing this strat will also make it one of the quickest rooms to clear out. After clearing out the room, you have to clear out the snipers and the Thrall defending the last room. You could kill the Hobgoblins, then jump down, but the safer route, in case you do die, is to clear out everything before you jump down. This may cause them to also drop ammo you can use if you die and respawn later, and I would highly suggest running it this way. Easiest thing to do is to jump up to the 2 snipers by swiping up to them with a sword. Once you get to the top goblin, you have a safe space to clear them all out without much issue and without much damage. You'll also be able to take out the 2 phalanxes to your right, wondering where the heck you went. Once all enemies are down, simply hop down, destroy the final blight, and hop down to the boss room. Depending on what you're running and depending on what class, I would suggest keeping the blights up no matter what. Now, if you're running Mountaintop and you want to sit back and snipe with the Mountaintop Anarchy, you will need to take down the blights so you have more room to shoot at them. But if you can not do that, I would suggest doing that, as you can have some more spaces to run and hide for a second to get a little bit of your health back, pop a rift down, or just run away from damage that you're taking. So if you can, leave the blights up. Use them to your advantage. Don't let the enemies use it to their advantage. Now, once you're in the boss room, you have one little thing you have to do. Just clear out a couple of waves of phalanxes. Use that arc SMG to break their shields really quickly. Also get your grenade back. And then just clear out them with a couple sword swings or a couple anarchy blights. And then wait for the first boss. The 3 bosses spawn one by one as each one has been damaged. The Blight Thrower is the most deadly one, and I prefer to deal with this one first under no circumstances. The other 2, for the most part, just stomp you if you get too close, and they're annoying only if you're close to them. So prioritize taking out the Blight Thrower first, and then worrying about the next 2. Simply clearing out what you need in this room is important, so you don't die, but do remember the timer is against you, and priority is the bosses. Once the bosses are dead, the timer stops, so do not prioritize enemies around you over the bosses. If you've done all this stuff so far, for the most part, you should be done. You should have gotten the exotic. the catalyst, or helped your friends get that, or gotten that nice solo or solo flawless on your dungeon report. Hopefully this video helps you. Hopefully this video gave you some insight on how I do all of my Sherpas and how I would run it in the future if I was still working on a solo of this mission or a solo flawless. Next up in this video, we're going to be talking about 0 Hour Heroics. So if you have any interest in working on that one or need some help or guidance on how to do that one solo and or solo flawless, be sure to give a like to this video to let me know that you're interested in that guide. And be sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. I do appreciate everyone stopping by. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.